Ready to dive into the world of luxury hospitality?
Always.
We're taking a deep dive into the latest quarterly results from Indian Hotels Co.
Ltd.
IHCL.
The powerhouse behind.
Those iconic Taj hotels.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's not just about the glitz and glamour, though.
No.
We're going to uncover what's fueling their impressive growth,
Yeah.
what their strategy tells us about the Indian hospitality scene as a whole,
Right.
and whether or not this success story has staying power.
Okay. Well, IHCL just hit a major milestone, right?
They did.
They crossed that 3,000 crore revenue mark for the quarter.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's massive.
Right.
But
Yeah.
before we get lost in the rupee signs and all that, let's zoom out for a sec.
Okay.
And look at the bigger picture of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's really interesting here is the context.
Okay.
India's economy is booming right now.
Right.
And that means more people have money to spend.
Yeah.
And the hospitality industry is riding that wave.
Makes sense. We're looking at projected growth of like 9 to 11% per year
Wow.
until 2027.
Okay.
And to put that in perspective, foreign tourist arrivals are expected to hit 25 million.
Wow.
Which is almost double what it was back in 2019.
Wow. So it's like all boats are rising.
Yeah.
But the luxury ones are rising even faster.
Yeah, you could say that. But IHCL isn't just sitting back and enjoying the ride, right?
Right.
They've got this multi-pronged approach that's really clever.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the legendary Taj hotels, of course.
Of course.
But then you've also got their Lean Luxe ginger brand,
Okay.
the unique Amastays and Trails.
Yeah.
And even Kiman, their food services arm.
So they're saying like, hey, we've got something for everyone.
Exactly. They're not just about luxury.
Yep.
They're strategically expanding to capture different segments.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working.
Yeah.
I mean, their RevPAR, which stands for revenue per available room, is a whopping 66% higher than the industry average.
Wow. Okay. So
That's huge.
unpack this RevPAR thing for a sec.
Okay.
Why is that such a big deal?
Well, imagine you're running a hotel, right?
Right.
You want to squeeze as much revenue as possible from each room. Yeah.
Yeah.
RevPAR is that key metric that tells you how effective you are at doing that.
Okay.
A higher RevPAR usually means stronger demand, better pricing power,
Okay.
and ultimately higher profits.
Gotcha. So they're making more money
Exactly.
from each room
Yep.
than their competitors,
Pretty much, yeah.
which is impressive.
It is impressive, yeah.
Okay. But let's get into the actual numbers,
All right.
the financials.
Let's do it.
We're talking 10 consecutive quarters of growth here.
Yeah.
How are they pulling this off?
Well, it's a few things.
Okay.
First of all, their Q2 revenue clocked in at 1,890 crores.
Wow.
That's a 28% jump year on year.
Okay.
And that's particularly notable
Yeah.
because Q2 is traditionally a weaker quarter for the industry.
Really?
Yeah, so they're exceeding expectations even during a typically slower season.
So what's driving that growth?
Well, the hotel segment itself saw a 16% bump year on year,
Okay.
reaching 1,722 crores.
Okay.
And then you've got their EBITDA margin, which basically tells you how much profit they're making from their core operations.
Okay.
And that stands at a very healthy 38.6%,
Okay.
which is a 3.9 percentage point increase from last year.
Hold on. For those of us who aren't financial wizards,
Sure.
break down EBITDA margin.
Okay, so think of it like this.
Okay.
EBITDA margin measures how much profit a company makes
Okay.
for every rupee of revenue
Okay.
before you factor in things like interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Right.
So it essentially shows how efficiently they're turning sales into profit.
From their core operations.
Okay.
Gotcha. So in this case, that 38.6%
Yeah.
means they're doing it sustainably.
They're running a tight ship, absolutely.
Okay.
And they're doing it well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's break down their revenue a little further.
Okay.
Right. So room revenue.
Yeah.
That's obviously
The heart of the business.
the heart of the hotel business, right?
Absolutely.
Surged by 16%,
Yep.
reaching 866 crores.
Makes sense, right? More people traveling, higher occupancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Okay, but they're not just about rooms, right?
Right.
We talked about their food and beverage.
We did. Cumin brought in 561 crores,
Okay.
which is also a 16% growth.
Wow.
So clearly, people are loving their dining experiences,
Yeah.
whether they're staying at the hotels or just stopping by for a
Right.
meal.
You're catering to the foodies too.
Absolutely.
Okay. What about management fees?
Yeah, those jumped by a healthy 15%,
Wow.
reaching 100 crores for the quarter.
So this
It's a testament to their asset-light model.
asset light. So that's where
They manage properties for others.
okay.
They leverage their brand and expertise, but they don't have to own every single property.
So it's like having your cake and eating it too, right?
Pretty much. It lets them scale rapidly and capitalize on opportunities without tying up a ton of capital.
That's smart.
It's a smart move.
Okay, so let's talk about what's driving this growth,
Right.
the factors behind this success.
So one big factor is the Indian wedding market.
Okay.
It's booming.
Yeah.
The second half of the year is projected to see a 30% increase in wedding dates.
Really?
Yeah, that's a huge opportunity for IHCL, especially with their strong presence in the luxury wedding segment.
So every time somebody says, I do.
IHCL is like, Johnny.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's not just weddings though, right?
Right, it's not just weddings. The MICE E segment,
Sure.
meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions.
Okay.
That's also seeing strong growth.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. As India becomes a global economic powerhouse,
Guys.
more companies are hosting events there,
Yeah.
and IHCL is perfectly positioned to capture that demand.
Makes sense. Okay, and then there's the resurgence.
In foreign tourist arrivals, we
Yeah.
talked about those projections of 25 million.
Yeah.
Well, that translates to an estimated 8-9% year-on-year growth.
So they've got these multiple engines of growth.
Exactly.
Weddings.
Yep.
MIC.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And a global influx of tourists.
It's a recipe for success.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But every business faces its challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So what are some of the potential roadblocks
Yeah.
that could slow down IHCL's momentum?
Well, one concern is a potential economic slowdown.
Of course.
If people start tightening their belts, travel and leisure spending is often the first to go.
Makes sense. So how is IHCL positioned to deal with that?
Their diverse brand portfolio is a big advantage.
Okay.
They're not just dependent on the high-end market, which is more vulnerable during economic downturns.
Right.
They've also been proactive in implementing cost optimization measures
Okay.
and streamlining their operations to improve efficiency.
So they're not just hoping for the best.
No.
They're preparing for the worst, too.
Exactly. They're building a sturdy ship to weather any storms.
I like that. All right, well, let's dig deeper
Yeah.
into their financials
Let's do that.
and see what we can learn from their balance sheet and cash flow statement.
Okay. Let's kick things off with their balance sheet.
Okay.
It's rock solid.
Yeah.
Total assets hitting a whopping 16,491 crores.
Wow.
But what's really eye-catching
Yeah.
is their cash position.
Okay.
2,460 crores in cash and cash equivalents.
Cash is king, right?
It is, absolutely.
So what does this mean for IHCL?
It gives them a ton of flexibility.
Okay.
They can reinvest that money back into their existing properties.
Okay.
You know, sprucing them up, adding new wings,
Yeah.
or they could go on a shopping spree, acquiring new properties, maybe even whole hotel chains.
Yeah.
This kind of financial firepower gives them a serious edge.
So they're playing offense.
Oh, yeah.
Not just defense.
They're in a strong position.
But growth isn't just about spending money wrong.
No, it's about smart investments.
Exactly.
And if we look at their cash flow statement,
Okay.
it paints a pretty compelling picture.
Right.
Their free cash flow for the first half of the year. Yeah.
Was 395 crores.
Okay.
That's a big jump from 266 crores
Okay.
in the same period last year.
No, remind me, free cash flow
Yeah.
is the money they have left over.
After all the bills are paid,
Okay.
after operations and investment.
It's the lifeblood of a business,
absolutely.
really.
Absolutely.
So the fact that it's so robust shows they're not just growing,
Right.
but growing profitably.
Growing smartly.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the financial ratios
Okay.
that investors love to look at.
Right.
What do those tell us?
Their return on capital employed, or ROCE,
Okay.
is a very healthy 15.7%,
Okay.
and their return on equity,
Yeah.
ROE,
Mm-hmm.
is also impressive at 14.8%.
Okay, for those of us who don't speak fluent finance,
Sure.
break down ROCE and ROE.
All right, so imagine you're baking a cake.
Okay.
You've got your ingredients, your oven, your time.
Mhm.
That's your capital.
Okay.
ROCE basically tells you how much cake you're getting
Okay.
for your investment.
Higher ROCE, you're a master baker, right?
Right.
Making the most of your resources.
Okay.
ROE, on the other hand,
Yeah.
focuses on the return for the bakery owners,
Okay.
the shareholders.
Right.
It shows how effectively they're profiting from their investment in the business.
So they're doing well on both
They are.
those fronts.
They're using their capital wisely and rewarding their shareholders.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
Okay, but let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about the people behind the numbers,
The human element.
the human element, right?
Yeah,
Because a company is only as good as its leadership.
absolutely.
So who are the masterminds behind IHCL's success?
Well, as we mentioned, IHCL is part of the Tata Group,
Right.
one of India's most respected conglomerates.
Yeah.
They have a stellar reputation for ethical business practices
Right.
and a strong commitment to social responsibility.
Yeah.
And that legacy is really ingrained in IHCL's DNA.
It's that Tata touch, right?
It is.
Trust, integrity, long-term vision.
Absolutely.
And that's reflected in the leadership of Mr. Puneet Chhatwal.
The MD and CEO.
Right.
He's been at the helm for several years now,
Yeah.
and he's played a key role in driving the company's growth.
What's his background?
He's got decades of experience
Wow.
in the global hospitality industry.
Okay.
He's held leadership positions at some big names,
Okay.
like the Residor Hotel Group and Steigenberger Hotels.
So he knows what he's doing.
He does. He's known for his strategic vision,
Okay.
his ability to navigate complex markets,
Yeah.
and his passion for creating exceptional guest experiences.
So he's not just a numbers guy.
No, not at all.
He understands the industry.
He's got a deep understanding of
Yeah.
the hospitality world.
What about the rest of the management team?
It's a good mix
Okay.
of experience and fresh perspectives.
Dope.
You've got seasoned professionals who've been with the company for a while,
Right?
providing continuity and that institutional knowledge,
Right.
but they've also brought in some younger talent
Yeah.
with expertise in areas like digital marketing,
Makes sense.
technology, sustainability.
So that blend of experience and innovation
It's essential.
keeps them relevant.
Keeps them agile, allows them to adapt.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, speaking of challenges,
Right.
let's talk about the risks,
Okay.
the potential roadblocks
Yeah.
for IHCL.
So one of the biggest concerns is a potential economic slowdown.
Of course.
Travel and leisure are often the first things to go
Yeah.
when people start tightening their belts.
Yeah,
We've all been there.
exactly. But IHCL's diverse brand portfolio
Okay.
offers some protection there.
Okay.
They're not just reliant on the luxury market,
Yeah.
which is more vulnerable during those downturns.
Right.
They've also been proactive about optimizing costs
Okay.
and streamlining operations to boost efficiency.
So they're not just crossing their fingers, they're actually taking action.
They're taking steps to prepare.
Okay. What about competition? Yeah. The hospitality industry is incredibly competitive.
It is?
You've got new boutique hotels popping up,
Yeah.
budget-friendly chains,
Yeah.
even Airbnb,
Right.
all vying for a piece of the market.
So they're going to have to keep innovating
They have to.
to stay ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, but it's not just about competition.
Right. There's also geopolitical uncertainty,
That's true.
which can have a big impact on tourism.
Right.
Things like political instability,
Mm.
natural disasters,
Yeah.
global health concerns.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So-
These things can disrupt travel and affect demand.
So IHCL can't just assume
No.
everything's going to be smooth sailing.
They have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Exactly.
Right.
But despite all that,
Yeah.
IHCL has some things working in its favor.
Absolutely.
Right. Their brand recognition,
That's huge.
their focus on operational efficiency,
Mm.
their investments in technology,
And sustainability.
and sustainability.
Yeah. All of those things give them an edge.
So they're building resilience
They are.
into their business model.
They're playing the long game.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So let's talk about the future.
Okay.
What are their plans
Yeah.
for continued growth and expansion?
All right. Well, IHCL has set this ambitious goal,
Okay.
double-digit revenue growth for the full year.
Wow.
And they're tackling it with a multi-pronged approach.
Okay. Break it down.
All right. So first, they're scaling up those newer businesses like Ginger, Amistays and Trails, and Cumin.
Okay.
These brands cater to, different segments, from budget-conscious travelers
Yeah.
to those looking for those unique experiential stays.
Yeah.
It's about grabbing a bigger piece of that market pie.
Diversification.
Exactly.
What else?
Well, they're also expanding their brandscape
Oh,
through
yeah.
acquisitions and partnerships.
Okay.
Like the Tree of Life brand they recently acquired.
Yeah.
That shows their commitment to,
Yeah.
you
Tapping into that growing demand for experiential travel.
Yeah, okay.
And the licensing agreement with the Claridges.
hmm
That lets them leverage a really strong luxury name in Delhi.
So building a hospitality empire.
Yeah, they're playing smart. And
Yeah.
they're doing all this while focusing on
Yeah.
operational efficiency.
Okay.
Always looking to streamline, optimize costs,
Right.
boosting profitability. It's not just growth.
Oh.
It's smart growth.
Sustainable, profitable growth.
Right. Okay. Now let's go back to that Tata Group legacy
Okay.
of ethical business practices
Mm-hmm.
and social responsibility.
Yeah.
How's IHCL upholding those values?
Well, they've woven sustainability into everything they do.
Okay.
Their Pathia initiative, for example,
Yeah.
focuses on things like
Okay.
environmental stewardship, community engagement,
Okay.
preserving India's cultural heritage.
So it's not just about the bottom line.
It's not just about the money.
They're making a positive impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's about understanding that their success is tied to
Yeah.
the well-being of their employees, their guests, and the planet.
That's great.
It's refreshing to see.
Yeah.
It shows you what the Tata Group stands for.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Their impressive financials,
Mm.
their diverse business model,
Yeah.
their growth strategies, their commitment to sustainability.
It's been a good overview.
Yeah. What's the key takeaway
Yeah.
for our listeners?
I think IHCL is a company that's really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
They have a strong foundation,
Yeah.
a winning strategy,
Yeah.
and a really bright future ahead.
It sounds like it.
They're a great example of how a legacy brand can adapt and thrive in a dynamic market.
And they're doing it the right way.
Exactly.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into IHCL.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. We'd love to hear from you.
What do you think is the biggest driver of growth for IHCL? Is it their expansion into new markets, their focus on experiential travel, or maybe their continued strength in the luxury segment? Let us know. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.